What up, what up, what up? It is Scotty. Welcome to another episode of Scotty Talks Philly Sports. Of course, you know it's your boy Scotty here, bringing you another episode. Coming off a big loss, 37-17 against the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to dive right into that. Second part of the episode, I'm going to dive into the Sixers took a huge L. Probably not a lot of people noticed. It's not a huge deal. As far as the grand scheme of things, but we'll dive into that a little bit as well. Split the episode up into two parts there. But yeah, be sure to go ahead and throw me a follow on Twitter and Instagram at Scotty Drown. That's going to be my personal page. That's where all my hot takes will come from. You can follow the sports page at ST Philly Sports 1. That's going to be on Twitter and Instagram as well. You can also find the sports page on Facebook at Scotty Talks Philly Sports. Be sure to go like that page, leave comments on all the articles, all the, postings, anything to gain, traction and get more listeners, help me out. It's always appreciated. And of course, remember to hit that subscribe button below here. That's what matters the most. The subscribers, the likes on my videos, that's what, brings me back, lets me know I'm doing things right. And, I just want to keep growing and garnering more listeners. I do want to go ahead and shout out my guys over at Heat Ratio Sports. We're partnered up with them, always providing the great content over there as well. I stumbled up there a little bit, because I'm getting ready to dive into this, this Eagles game against the Cowboys. And, I think it ended up bothering me a little bit more than what I expected. Well, first of all, I expected to win. I truly thought we were going to win that game. Jalen Ertz has been playing really good football lately. And, I just expected that we had enough, to go in there and get that W. The Cowboys don't have a great defense. Their offense has been spotty. They have a great wide receiving core. Zeke has been this season, but they came out, they got this W, and it stung me more after watching. You already saw Washington, won against the Panthers or lost against the Panthers, excuse me. Which that obviously would have been our ticket. If we go ahead and win against Cowboys, win against Washington, boom, we're going to the playoffs. And that's all over now. That's not happening. The Eagles always seem to pull you back in at the end of the season. And once again, even with only 4 wins up to this point, still had us all, buying in, wanting them to win, hoping we can get a playoff berth, anything. And it just didn't work out. A lot of things happened yesterday. Let's talk about it. I mean, you get off to the hot start, a 14-3 lead in the first quarter. Jalen Hurts comes out balling. The offense is moving. We're running the football. Miles Sanders gets in the end zone first. And then, of course, the huge 81-yarder to Djax. That was beautiful. And you thought this was going to be a cakewalk. I mean, you go up 14-3. I believe we get a stop after that. You can go up by, 2-3 scores there, and we take the foot off the gas. We run the ball on a 3rd and 4, which I've been begging Doug to stick to the run this year. But 3rd and 4, Jalen Hurts has their backs are against the wall. I mean, we score there, and that game is blown wide open. And I thought Doug went a little too conservative at the wrong time right there. And I think that cost us, the momentum right there that shifted. They come back, they score. And after that first quarter, we only score 3 points in the second quarter and then don't score in the second half at all. It seemed to unravel in the second half. And it was the first time we've, seen the rookie in Jalen Hurts. His first 2 starts were immaculate, incredible starts for a rookie. But this one, it kind of fell apart, came off the wheels came off the tracks, and it went downhill quickly in the second half. It seemed to look like turnover after turnover. Now, mind you, that one fumble, come on with that. That shouldn't count, but it does count. There's a lot of plays like that with Wentz that we counted. Those count. So he had 342 passing yards, 53% completion. I mean, not great, but you do like the passing yards. I mean, we were playing catch up for a lot of the games, so that explains, the 40 attempts. But then you throw in the 2 interceptions. He was sacked 3 times, 2 fumbles, 1 loss, and an 18.6 QBR overall. Missed Rager on a deep throw that could have connected for a touchdown. Missed a couple different guys. There was one specific third down, I believe, where he could have just dumped it off to Miles, and he had a good shot at getting that first down. So, a couple little things here and there, and those are going to happen with all quarterbacks. That's what Philadelphia and the fan base fails to realize, is that all quarterbacks are going to miss throws. No quarterback is going to be perfect ever. And, what we saw out of Jalen Hurts, yes, it was disappointing, but he's a rookie. And let's not be over dramatic about this. Let's not draw this out. Let's not act like we didn't know what this team was. I mean, we watched it all season. A lot of people like to say that Carson Wentz just all of a sudden became the worst quarterback in the league. Sure, he's played very poorly. You don't just get that bad overnight. The team around him is not good at all. It's a bad team. They have 4 wins. We're in a position where by the end of next week, if we lose to Washington and some other games play out, we could have the 3rd pick in the draft. You're a top 5 draft pick team. I mean, that's not a good football team. That's obvious. We had no business being in the playoffs. Jalen Hurts was able to come in there and create this mirage of, like a decent offense that can, move up and down the field, score points. The defense is going to give up a little bit, but the offense is going to be able to score. And that wasn't the case here. It didn't work out that way. And I think part of what you saw was defense is adjusting to Jalen Hurts and that style of quarterback. There's been arguments out there that, teams have seen mobile quarterbacks before. There's no reason they wouldn't be ready. There is, because when you go into a game and you're watching game film on a team and one quarterback is playing who is Carson Wentz, who is not nearly as mobile, and you don't have game film with Jalen Hurts running quarterback for the Eagles in that offense, it's a little different, and it's a little harder to scheme. You don't know that Doug's going to come out and run, 30 read options with Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts. You don't know that from the jump, and that's part of the reason. You cannot lie. That is part of the reason that we were able to take advantage of that game against New Orleans. It was a quick turnaround. New Orleans didn't know until about, second day, third day into the week that Jalen Hurts was actually starting, and that is an advantage. That's part of an advantage, and you saw over the last 3 weeks, and it became apparent in this third game that in the second half, teams were adjusting. They were starting to contain better. New Orleans fell apart. Let's not get it twisted. But in these last 3 games, you're looking at 3 second halves where we have a total of 13 points. That's insane. You look at this week, we had 0 points in the second half against the Dallas Cowboys. They're not a good defense. And by no means am I blaming Jalen Hurts for this. Like I said, it was his first game where he actually looked like a rookie, and he still looked decent. I mean, the 2 interceptions at the end, that's garbage time. The fumble at the end that counts, that's garbage time. It's BS. It was a BS fumble from the jump. But, overall, this game isn't on Hurts. But that's kind of my leading point here, is because Carson Wentz has, received all of the blame for this team. There's people, saying that we would have a winning record with Jalen Hurts. Our record is about to be 1-3 with Jalen Hurts. Yes, we beat the Saints. Yes, that was a great win against Taysom Hill. Drew Brees was not playing. Great. You come out against the Arizona Cardinals, who we think is a decent team, right? And then they beat us. Kyler Murray goes off. DeAndre Hopkins goes off. But then the next week they lose to San Francisco. So the Cardinals aren't that good of a team to be losing to. We lost to them. We gave up a lot of points, and that's what happened. And then you come into the Cowboys game where obviously Cowboys aren't that good, but you took that L. And part of it was on our defense. Obviously, we gave up 37 points, but we did only score 17 points 0 points in a whole half. Not Jalen Hurts' complete fault. Obviously, like I said, he missed some throws. The offensive line was terrible once again. I mean, guys were getting blown up, pressure in his face all day, forced to make some of those bad decisions. Just like some other quarterbacks in Philadelphia this year, or one other quarterback in Philadelphia. That's kind of my point. It's not fair to evaluate either of these quarterbacks wholeheartedly just with this team. And I know everybody's saying, oh, rookie quarterback to a fifth-year quarterback. I get that. But it's not like a bad team around the quarterback makes it easier as you get into the latter years of your career. As you become a veteran, it doesn't get easier to play with a terrible team with practice squad players you've never played with before. It doesn't get easier to do that. So, I'm not sitting here throwing stones at Jalen Hurts or throwing stones at Carson Wentz either. I like both quarterbacks. I think the Eagles at the end of this season are going to have a very interesting decision to make. Obviously, as we go down the stretch here, I have started leaning more towards Hurts. But I'm not bailing on Carson just yet as a quarterback. I believe that he's going to be a good quarterback next year. Next year, I think he's going to be a good starter, whether it's in the Eagles or on a different team. That's yet to be seen. But I think Carson Wentz will be starting, and I think he will be a good quarterback again next year. He'll have some time to get his mind right over the offseason, these last couple games, to watch the game, not play. Sometimes that helps take a step back and see what you were not processing correctly. His contract is monstrous. It's monstrous for, a guy that's coming off leading the NFL in turnovers. I mean, I get it. And if you can get rid of that contract and keep a guy like Jalen Hurts here, who's on a rookie deal, you got to do that. I mean, you're looking at the Eagles cap situation that is just completely crippling. Unless Jalen Hurts has like some complete meltdown against the Washington football team this week, I don't expect us to win. He's going to be pressured. It's going to be the worst game it's going to be the hardest defense you've seen. At least the best front seven, for sure. I mean, it's going to be the most pressure that he's seen this entire time that he's started. And I don't expect it to be a beautiful game. I don't expect the Eagles to win, especially seeing how we came out against Dallas. But, you would hope to just see a little more poise, maybe not turn the ball over as much, just play a decent game. Unless he has like some catastrophic failure there, he has a very promising future. He's shown a ton of potential. And, just seeing where the Eagles are at right now, you got a lot of young guys here. You got a lot of older guys that you're going to be able to get rid of this offseason. The Ertz, the Alshons, the Deshaun Jacksons of the world. A lot of those guys are going to be gone. You're going to have a new crowd. You're going to have the Rieger, Ward, Quez Watkins is going to be here, John Hightower, maybe Jay Jaw, a couple of these younger guys. And I'm sure they'll, bring in some young guys, whether it's, through the draft, free agency, whatever the case may be. But it's a new age. You got Miles Sanders coming in. You're hopefully going to get him a sturdy backup in this next draft as well. Hopefully in one of the later rounds you can get a nice guy to back him up. But it's just a new age in Philly, and you kind of see how the timeline might favor Jalen Hurts a little bit more at this point, because I don't think we're contending anytime soon. And you can use next year even as, a growing year once again for Jalen Hurts, give him a full season and see what he's got. But there is this one piece of me that thinks that, there is some overconfident talent evaluator out there, offensive genius, young, inquisitive mind that just feels like he could take on the Wentz project. And there's part of me that feels like we could get a good offering for Wentz. But on the other end, there's part of me that thinks, you saw Jalen Hurts make this offense a little bit better. Definitely came out and put up some, pretty good numbers as far as, even if you do consider that garbage time numbers. Put up some decent numbers, showed a lot of potential, showed a lot of poise, a lot of confidence, and a lot of leadership. Does somebody come swoop in and offer a first-round pick for Jalen Hurts? They think that he could be their franchise quarterback, their guy to go forward. If somebody comes in and offers a top 20 pick for Jalen Hurts, do you take that in comparison of trying to get rid of Carson Wentz in that contract? It's something to consider. It's something that could happen. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm not saying Jalen Hurts is worth a first-round pick. He might be. I mean, we drafted him in the second round, and he's playing better than what we thought. Let's be honest. He's playing better than what we thought when we drafted him in the second round. So part of me feels like there is some chance of that happening. Ultimately, I think you just have to field offers for both, see what the market is like, and see what the best return is. If you can get a ton of picks for Wentz, multiple third rounders, anything like that, where you can get some extra picks to get some cheaper contracts on this team to lessen up that, that salary cap, get some space in here so we can sign some guys. If we were able to move Wentz by 2022, we would be good, or we would have a ton of cap space. So there is that part of me, see who you can get the haul for, whether it's Wentz or whether it's Hurts. See who you can get the haul for in order to fill more holes and build this team better. The more likely scenario is obviously going with Hurts. This is all stuff that I'm going to get into with my guys, Tony Cotilio and Phil Stifle, Beard of Knowledge and Jigsaw from Heat Ratio Sports. These guys are going to come on later this week. We're going to dive, further into this. I don't want to just sit here and bounce my perspectives off a brick wall. I want somebody to recuperate, give me some feedback, and get some different perspectives of what's going on here in Philadelphia going forward. So I will dive into the more of the off-season stuff, the future stuff with those guys later on this week. But this is just going to be a quick recap, of course. I think, I mentioned that Hurts was, masking this offense and masking Doug Pederson's failures. At this point, you see Jalen Hurts, you think that, we beat the Saints, we competed with the Cardinals, we should beat the Cowboys. You go out there and lose that game. You have Miles Sanders after the game saying we weren't locked in. How aren't you locked in for a potentially, it's a playoff game. It's your last chance. You are now eliminated, and you were not locked in. You look at the false starts, the discipline, the penalties. You look at the adjustments by Jim Schwartz. There was none. You waited until what? The latter half of the third quarter, fourth quarter to take Michael Jacquet off of one of these star receivers? Like, how long does it take to realize? How many yards does Michael Gallup have to gather before you decide to make a change? So then you flip him over to Cooper, and Cooper does it to him. I mean, Cooper's a better receiver than Michael Gallup. What's the logic there? That was dumb. I mean, so my point here is that these coaches need to go. I'm over them. I'm over it. I'm over the offensive schemes that don't help our wide receivers get open. I'm over the offensive schemes that don't help our quarterback throwing the ball 40 times. This fool Vilma on national television said that the Eagles are a running team. In what world, bro? We run the ball well. We don't do it often. We're not a running team. We rank in the lower ladder of the league in the actual attempts of running the football. Yeah, we get good yards per carry. No, man, that's idiotic. And that just shows you the national media perspective here. Idiots. Idiots. But, besides the point, Doug Pederson, I mean, I have respect for him. The Super Bowl ring, of course. We're never going to forget that. If they want to give him another year, if Jeff Lurie, if Howie is somehow here and wants to, give another year to Doug Pederson, sure. But you have to bring in an offensive coordinator. You have to take some of the stress off of Doug Pederson. You have to take some of the stress off of him. He cannot do both. He cannot be the head coach and the offensive coordinator. He can't handle it. It is obvious. This team is lacking so much discipline, it isn't even funny. And he doesn't have time to do both. And so he's doing neither good, period. And I do want to shout out, I just had an update. Apparently the $2,000 stimulus check was approved. So that is good news. We'll find out if that's actually true when I get off of here. But yeah, I mean, you get the gist of what I took from that game. Doug Pederson and this coaching staff, not competent. I mean, not a good coaching staff. Our special teams are suffering. I mean, we suck on special teams. It's unreal. Ertz, he masks some of the flaws, but I don't think it's a clear-cut decision between who's, better going on in the future between Ertz and Wentz. There's no clear-cut decision there. And I thought we might have it, if Ertz gets this win against the Cowboys, if we get to see Ertz play a playoff game, in his first season. That didn't happen. So the decision there isn't as clear. And that's the gist that I got from that game. I mentioned the defense. The defense obviously gave up 37 points. I'm not going to let that go by. The defense needs to be completely revamped. I mentioned Jim Schwartz has got to go. A lot of these other guys got to go. We got to get these guys that are just, kind of these rotational pieces that somehow end up starting all the time. Jalen Mills, I'm on the fence with him, but I'm kind of in the sense, can we not upgrade the secondary? Is Jalen Mills the best that we're going to get to where we were just satisfied with mediocre? Like Jalen Mills, yeah, he should be maybe like a third safety or a, third or fourth cornerback, not a starting secondary player, period. And, I know he gathers a lot of respect. I have a lot of respect for him. He has superior confidence. He's a great leader. Fucks up way too much, period. Vontae Maddox is not the guy at the second cornerback spot, period. Michael Jacquet, no, period. We can't have guys like that in the game. We let guys like Sidney Jones and Razzle Douglas walk. What are we thinking here? When we go back and look on this season, look at who's been playing in that secondary beside Darius Slay. Rodney McLeod's going to be coming off a torn knee. What's he going to be like? We haven't been able to see Kayvon Wallace, so we don't know what we even have in him. What do we do with this secondary? I know everybody is clamoring for that wide receiver pick in the first round. I'm not going to be mad if they pick, Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle in that first round. I'm not going to be mad. But do I know what the right pick is? You got to get some talent on this defense, man. You got to get some talent on this defense. I mean, if you're coming back with Doug next year, you don't even have any proof that you can get your wide receivers involved regardless. So it might not even be worth it. You got to go out there and get Farley, Surtain, one of those guys, one of those lockdown corners. Get that CB2 locked up beside Slay, and we might have a chance at having a competent, secondary. The defensive line is already set. I mean, we got a couple guys we got to move around there. Derek Barnett, will he be back? Josh Sweat has had an amazing year. Brandon Graham, of course, had an amazing year. Fletcher Cox, goes out last game. Hate to see that, but you see his effect on the defense. He's not a guy you can afford to get rid of. We lost complete control of the run game, of the pass rush, as soon as Fletcher went out with that stinger. Javon Hargrave's there. Malik Jackson's probably gone. I mean, so you have to wonder, maybe add another edge rusher here somewhere along the line. The linebacking crew. Alex Singleton has definitely showed that he belongs. I would keep him as a starter for next season. I really would. Aside from him, it's a bunch of question marks. A bunch. You do not want Nate Jerry coming back out there starting next year. Coming off an injury, you think he's going to be better? No. You don't want him starting. TJ Edwards showed some signs, maybe. But, the defense needs revamped completely. I mean, just listen to these stat lines for the Cowboys yesterday. This is without Dak Prescott. This is with their beat-up offensive line. A 5-win Cowboys team, a 5 or 6-win Cowboys team. Now I can't remember what they got. You got Andy Dalton, 22 for 30, completions out of attempts, 377 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, the one great interception by Darius Slay. That was a big play, Slay. We've been missing all season right there. 86.1 QBR. Dude pitched a perfect game almost. I mean, the interception, sure. He was getting the ball out quick. He wasn't taking sacks a lot. He outplayed Jalen Hurts, Andy Dalton. I mean, solid veteran, sure. Whatever. Zeke, you had 19 carries, 105 yards. He finally hit the 100-yard mark. You had 2 receivers hit the 100-yard mark. Gallup, 121 yards with 2 touchdowns. You had Cooper with 121 yards. You had Lamb with 65 yards and a touchdown, also a rushing score. So the Cowboys went off on us. And mind you, we're playing with a lot of backups out there, sure. It's time to revamp it. It's time for a new voice on that defense. We got to get Schwartz off that defense and just get a new scheme in here and revamp some of the positions. The secondary needs revamped. I don't know if guys like LeBlanc will be back. He showed some weaknesses this year. We got to revamp that defense. We got to get some younger guys. We got to get some talent in there. It's one, you can have try-hard, sure, good character guys. We need talent on the defense. We need nasty guys. We need guys with a nasty streak that can lead out there. Micah Parsons, that's not a bad pick in the first round. There's options out there, guys. But I'll get into more of the off-season stuff, obviously, after this upcoming game. I'll definitely touch on it this week. It's going to be the talk of the week is basically what's going to happen going forward. We're eliminated from the playoffs, so there's not much to talk about there. What's going to happen going forward? I'll get into that with Tony and Phil later this week. We'll bounce some ideas around, see what you guys are talking about. But pretty miserable season overall here, guys. To be eliminated from the playoffs, we're the only team in our division that's eliminated. Worst division in football, and we're in last place. We're about to have a top 5 pick. I don't know if anybody predicted that at the beginning of the season, and if you did, then you're a bona fide genius. I didn't see this coming. I didn't see Carson Wentz playing that bad. I didn't see Doug Pederson, coaching that bad. I had Doug Pederson as a top 10 head coach at the beginning of the season. He might not be a top 20 head coach in all honesty. Yeah, I'm stunned here, guys, and I'm disappointed. I semi-sad, semi-mad, really, we didn't talk about Howie Roseman today, but that's a whole other, that's an hour-long combo about his shortcomings. But I'm going to go ahead and transition into the Sixers part of this episode, which, coming off a tough loss, not as depressing as the Eagles. You can already see we're leaning towards that off-season talk, and it is not great to think about how long this off-season is going to be and the tough decisions that are going to come forward. But, guys, that's going to be it for this episode. This part of the episode, I should say, is going to be a 2-part episode. If you want to hear about the Sixers and how I'm feeling about them, be sure to check out the second part. Of course, thank you guys for listening to this part about the Eagles. I know I got some Solo Birds fans. Not everybody touches all 4 of these Philly teams. So if you want to dip out and not check out the second part of the episode, that is totally fine. But thank you guys all season for, supporting me, listening, to my takes with these Eagles. I've been wrong a lot, and you guys have still decided to listen, and I can't thank you guys enough. It's completely wholeheartedly appreciated. Like I said, check out the second part of the episode. Be sure to go give me a follow at Scotty Drowned on Twitter and Instagram. That's my personal page. Be sure to follow the sports page at ST Philly Sports 1. That is going to be for Scotty Talks Philly Sports. You can find us at Scotty Talks Philly Sports on Facebook. And you can also remember, you can find us on all the streaming services, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Spreaker, all of them, Anchor, it doesn't matter. And be sure to subscribe and like on YouTube. That's my favorite spot. I love when you guys get to see my face, see my videos. So be sure to check us out. Be sure to check out this second half of the episode. Thanks, guys. That's it for this part.